Hi guys, I'm Aegis here. So today I'm here with another V Premium deck profile, and this time we'll be covering Dimension Police, and it will be Dimension Robo. So with new updates, we have a reverse Daiyusha, and it's a very interesting card to play with. In a way, I think the card is actually easier to use than like what we had before, but there are some restrictions that when I play test, I actually did miss, and when I check the card again, I know that's the problem. So I'm not too sure if I can put up a fight video on this deck yet, because I did change a little stuff. So maybe when I have a chance to actually record a fight that using the updated version, then I will do that. Yeah. So without further ado, let's go into the deck profile. Starting Vanguard doesn't matter as long as you use a Fiera. Starting Vanguard, that's fine. Okay, and then next I am actually running our good card, Daiyusha. So the reason I actually choose to use Daiyusha is that it is a card that can actually help me pick up Grade 3s. It increases my defense, that is well proven in premium format. That in review is a little bit harder, but at least we still have some kind of defense by using him. And he can do early big punches with crit, because we can have a chance to find a Grade 3 from top 7 add to hand and a plus 20k and 1 crit, so that is still something. Like, while you don't have other superior ride parts to play with, then at least you have that. Or you can even just switch gears. For example, if you ride into like a Daikaiser, or you have to ride one of the Great Daiyusha, Reverse Daiyusha, then at least you get to switch your gears back to this, while still trying to search for a Great Hoop for shield, for superior ride, for whatever reason that can save you. So I think Daiyusha is quite important in this deck. In like other previous build, we probably focus more on the other Grade 3s rather than 99er, but the reverse Daiyusha do require us to have a Dimension Robo for attacking, so that is quite important that we try to include more Dimension Robo as we can. So Daiyusha is here. Okay. And then I'm actually running 4 of the Great Daiyusha, because Great Daiyusha can do a quite simple superior ride as long as you're willing to not ride for a turn, like during your ride phase. Else you can't use him, because you can't ride anything before you use the skill for the turn. But after that, you can do whatever you want. So it's still a very strong card to increase Vanguard punches while buffing the front row, and also will help you gain force marker. Just that is a little bit limiting, so that's why Daiyusha is still here. That when you have nothing, no Grade 3s in hand, you can still use Daiyusha skill to try to find one here, gain 20k, and then if you use force one, which I usually do, then what you need is only like a little boost, then you are already fit, or even just a trigger. Then you can activate Great Daiyusha skill to superior ride, buff the front row, buff the Vanguard by a lot, and trying to do your attacks again. So it's still a very good card to use, and having more is definitely fine, because if you find them like extra, you always have a way to use it, no matter as a shield, as something that if you need to discard for, feel free to use that. That's totally fine, and that's also one reason why I'm running Daiyusha, so that we can fully utilize it. And then get back to our reverse Daiyusha. So this is a new support that we have, and he got 2 skills. So let's talk about his skill. Let's talk about the second one first. It's a active skill once per turn. Lock 2 of your Dimension Robo regards, and choose one of opponent's Vanguard for the turn minus 10k. So it is a skill that you usually won't be using unless you actually get a chance to have your reverse Daiyusha to stay as your Vanguard during a main phase. Because of this first skill is a from hand skill, that if you have a Dimension Robo Grade 3 or higher Vanguard attack battle ends, And for the turn, if all the units that attacked of yours are Dimension Robo, you can counterblast 1, write this card as stand, -1 drive, and then for like the turn you cannot use card effects to write again. So that's the main reason why you usually won't be using the second skill. But if you actually get to stay with him, like maybe for the next turn, then you can try to lock 2 Dimension Robo to -10k of your opponent's Vanguard and just do whatever to hit them hard. Now, the main restrictions with Reverse Daiyusha is you do need to have Dimension Robo Vanguard, and like when you pop this skill, the units that you used to attack for the turn up to that moment have to be all Dimension Robos. But that doesn't mean you can't use any non-Dimension Robo cards, just that you cannot use them to attack first. That's the only thing. So like if your 2 regards are all non-Dimension Robo, then you just swing your Vanguard and then do this. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. But if you use one of those non-Dimension Robo to attack first, that means you can pop the skill. That is something that you need to be very, very careful. And the dream combo is of course when you go from, for example, a Dai Kaiser, which I'm running 2 right here, that you use your Dai Kaiser, swing to your opponent, and then you superior right into a Great Daiyusha, and then pull out the Dai Kaiser, because it's being run on top. You can superior card to Radar Circle, so his wonderful skill can pop again. And Great Daiyusha didn't require you to like not being able to ride again. So after Great Daiyusha attacks, we still have Train Drive, and then you can go into Reverse Daiyusha. That's the dream combo. But I have tested so many games and it's so hard to actually achieve. So mainly my goal is from Dailiner to Great Daiyusha, Dailiner to Reverse Daiyusha, or Dai Kaiser to Reverse Daiyusha. That's normally how I would go, because it's so much easier to just simply superior write a Reverse Daiyusha, because you just need to have a Dimension Robo Vanguard attack, counterblast 1, and get it done. You don't even need to take care about the power. Yeah, so that's why I think he is a better choice somehow. So if you really want, like, if you think this is too much, you can cut 1 into these. That is totally fine for me. But I have to say, because I still want to try out the dream combo, so I am trying to make sure I get this part first and then go into this, hopefully. But again, if it's not happening, you just don't force yourself to go through these steps. Just go into the one that you feel more comfortable with. You can even just play a Great Daiyusha out as an attacker, and then just superior into a Reverse Daiyusha. Because when you play this, your opponents might get baited that you give up a superior riding, and then you suddenly give them a Reverse Daiyusha hit. Then they can change things sometimes. Next, for Kaisart, easier to gain force marker, a very good beater. That's all we need to say about him. He's still a very good card, so I'm running 4 of. And then 2 of the Die Bumper, Dumper. So this card is also kind of like Die Liner that can help putting values to your Great Freeze as shields. I think the main reason for me to use Die Dumper is if I don't have a Kaiser, at least I can use Dumper to survive for a turn. I don't quite care about the second skill that to pump 10k and retire the card, so really doesn't matter. And he's also a Dimensional Robo, so you can use him to attack first while still being able to proc Reverse Daiyusha skill if you want to. And then I'm running 4 of the monster promo. We get a Repair, so it's very good to have. it's still a very important card to use up your opponent's resources, because if they don't counterblast, they draw one. If they don't soul blast, their Vanguard will be minus 5k and you'll be hitting them so hard. But again, if you are going to do your reverse Daiyusha play, or you think you will be doing a reverse Daiyusha play because you might not have it in hand, but you suddenly have it in hand by try checking, then make sure you don't attack with this first, else you're going to ruin your plan. Yeah, so do be careful about that, else this is still a very strong card, and like during a grade 2 game you can still try to soul blast one and tell your opponent, are you going to soul blast one, or else I will minus you 5 and I'm going in. So once you get to push the damage through, they will have a harder time to actually survive. So it's up to you how you fully utilize this card, but I think it's still important to actually have this card in deck. Just you have to be very careful the moment you use him to attack. And then entering grid ones, still the best. Twin order, palming Vanguard to a different level because we do have a chance to gain a lot of force markers. Kaiser Grid and get you one, Riding Great get you one, Superior Ride Great Daiyusha get you one, Superior Ride Reverse Daiyusha get you one. So you do have a lot of chances to gain a lot of force markers, and you can actually invest to different regard circles to pump them up while still using train order to pump your Vanguard to the next level. And if your opponents can't guard them more, they will suffer. And then 4-type prop, still a very good first ride that allows you to have a possibility to draw 2. The Soul Blast 1 to gain 5k for each force marker on your Vanguard circle to your Vanguard is a plus. You don't always have to use it. The main reason I'm using him is for the first skill, allows me to recycle Great Freeze while getting some draws. But if you need the sudden power up, you have it there. And then 1-time arena, because my Vanguard is always hitting hard while it's not actually breaking shield. Even Daikaiser is not breaking shield, is dealing extra damage. So what I do is to make them to actually use more cards to guard, and then I go into Superior Ride while they're using a lot of hands. I'm still punching them hard. They still need to give me stuff. If they don't have it, I'm going in. If they have it, they lose all the resources. That's the plan. And then 2 more Group Researcher, because we do want to hopefully get into these for riding, get into these when we have these, and then we want some more extra resources to Superior Ride 4. And as long as your Vanguard is a grade 3, you can just simply get a 5k to be 13k attacker. Just again, be careful like the monster. If you are doing the reverse Daiyusha play, you don't attack with this card first, then I think you're fine. Now going to triggers, first I have 6 crits, and then 4 PG draws and 2 normal draws, and then 4 Heal Guardians. The Heal Guardians is mainly here for surviving, because once I get into Grave Reap, I'm hitting my opponents hard. I just need a certain level of defense, and then Grave Reaps are also shield, so I'm not too worried about that part. But the draws is important, because if we don't get our pieces fast, we will end up going to another route, which is losing our resources very, very fast. Because a lot of cards are Great Freeze, and if we can't get into Dieliner, they will be cards to play on the board. They will be wasted cards in hand, maybe a cost for PG if you do have a PG. So having some draws just sometimes saves your life. Or even when you have Dieliner, when you're like 10k short, or say 20k short, and then you hit into a draw into a grade 3, digit out, that's 20k. So just to get prepared that this can happen, I think draw is actually helping a lot. So even though the idea is still trying to finish our opponents very fast, but at the same time with draw we can survive at least a mid game or sometimes even a longer game. That's the plan. So yeah. So I think the deck itself is quite straightforward, but let's say if we actually have the most ideal situation is you have a Daiyusha on ride that is already like ride for a turn, and then you start a turn, you didn't ride a card, and say if you use a Kaiser, so which means you will have 2 horse markers, right? So that is very 3k by itself. If you want it to gain a crit, then what you have to do is to give it 5k, right? And the 5k can be simply done by this, because this will be plus 10k, which will be quite easy for you. But if you all want to get prepared again for the most ideal situation, which you want to go into this and then go into this, right? Then the best option is to have this. But in order for this to actually help you out, you need to have dimension robos to boost for, right? And once you boost that plus another 20k, that's already at 53, you gain a crit. And then you go into this, and whatever your opponents do, if they actually really PG 1 and then you get a great free, you can simply counter blast 1 and deal 1 damage to them. That's totally fine. But if you don't have a lot of counter blast, then you probably can just save it, go into this, and then your Daiyusha will come out because it gets right on top, and you also gain another force marker to your Vanguard circle. That's another one, right? And your Vanguard plus 20k already, so this is 63, and this also get plus 10k because of great Daiyusha skill, and you ride, you get a force marker, so you can actually place on top of your Daiyusha, right? So you can still do good stuff in your swing. And say if your opponent still have PG, that's fine. If every trigger is just put to Daiyusha and then you go into this and you get yet another force marker, then you can just place on Daiyusha again and swing with this again, right? In order you get only one drive, but you can still put all the power there if you hit a trigger, and this will still hit. And you actually have 3 chances to proc your Daiyusha. So it's not actually a once per turn, so whenever you do drive check, you get a chance, you can just deal a damage. But of course you do need to like have a whole bunch of counter blocks to do that, but it is possible. And doing this play allows you to only have 2 lines, because what you need is this, and this, right? And once you ride on top of Daiyusha, it will become your radar. But the only thing is, while you are doing that, through this attack, if you do get any triggers, if you don't have anything here as a boost, then you lose the power. So if you by any chance have like another of this or another of this, or even this or this, or even just a trigger, just maybe consider to put it down, put some power there, and when you ride on top, come out, and at least power can be like shared and go into this. That's the most ideal situation. But most times what I'm going for is just this to this, and just do a mini play that is kind of the same, or like more ideally is to go with this, right, and just go into this. Just that simple. But of course you do have to be careful to look at your hand. If you like have a whole bunch of braveries, then you might actually save it for a little later, and unless you see by going for display you can win. If not, you rather save your graphics in hand so that you can use them as shield to survive a turn, and then use this again, go in, and then go into this. Or maybe even, because you didn't write a new card, you can actually go to this and to this. Who knows? But do be careful on your plays. And the deck is actually quite straightforward again, so you don't need to worry about that too much. And just try it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like this video, if you like the deck profile, if you're like a DP fan or like a Dimension Robo fan, because I don't do a lot of Dimension Police deck profiles for now. Usually I just do Dimension Robo, and like the Enigmatic Storm is coming out, like it has come out, so I still need to make it a premium deck for it, but I still need time for that, so it will come, but it will be later. Yeah, so again, like, comment, share, subscribe for more deck profiles, fight videos, for more unboxings, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.